Hey, what's up, readers of awesome literature? My name is Nick Pell, and once again, this is coming from my white room. Now, this week I'm getting back to the book reviews finally, or once again, and I will be reviewing a classic for you, which you guys haven't seen for quite a while. But it's by a really good author. I reviewed Palace Walk, which is by him. This week's book is Karnak Cafe. For the record right now, if I mispronounce any names, and I will, I apologize, but I don't know exactly how they're supposed to be pronounced. So, Karnak Cafe, translated in this edition by Roger Allen. This is the Anchor Books edition. It's a really short book, about 92 pages, give or take, depending on your version. I literally got through it in like a day. So it's a really quick read, but it's really good, too. So let's begin with characters, and our first character is the narrator. He doesn't really have a name, but you see the story through his eyes, and then through the stories that people are telling him in the later chapters. He's basically the one that you follow, but there's not a lot that is done with him. He basically just sets up the overall story. And then we also have Krunfula. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's what I'm going with. Krunfula is the owner of the Karnak Cafe, and our narrator, he sees her one day, goes into her cafe shop, and he basically just becomes part of the community, and she's the person that is focused on for the first chapter. Each chapter has a specific character that is focused on. First one, it's Krunfala, and then the next two are two of the students. The last one is another person who is significant to the plot. Our next character is Ismail. I don't know if I'm saying that right either. But he is one of the students who is a main member of the cafe community. He is one of the significant people in the plot as a whole. And he is in a relationship with Zainab. I don't know if I'm saying that right either. But she is a woman who is dating, more or less, Ismail. These two are the characters that probably have the most prominence in the story. You see their backgrounds in the second third of the book, and what happens to them. And also Hilmi. He's also one of the students. He doesn't have as prominent a purpose in it. A little more in the first chapter with Krunfula. After that, his significance kind of dies down for the most part, but is brought up a little bit during the next chapters. And then our last main character is Khaled Safwan. He is kind of a character mentioned throughout all the chapters. He's kind of the main villain in a sense, but I don't really want to go too much into him because that would spoil things. So let's go to the plot. And with the plot, it's pretty simple for the most part, but in other ways it's not. Basically starts out, narrator goes into Karnak Cafe, meets Krunfula, and just becomes kind of a member of the community. First chapter is basically dealing with Krunfula and her various people who have interest in her, like in a relationship, and seeing just how she deals with stuff. During that chapter, it brings up the three disappearances of these three students. They will disappear, then reappear, then disappear, then reappear, then disappear, then reappear. This happens 3 times in the first chapter, and then in the second and third chapter, it's told why they disappeared. And so that's more or less the plot. And so, yeah, it's pretty good. It's really short, but it's really easy to read too. Moving on to themes. 3 themes this time. First one is corruption in the government. This plays a major role because when this book is set, which I believe is like the 1960s in Egypt, there's a revolution going on called the June Revolution. I don't really know a lot about it, honestly, but that's a thing that's going on, and it's causing kind of a big surge in nationalism and a sense of being a revolutionary and like supporting the new regime cause type of thing. And there's talk about it, like America's brought up a few times, and various other countries, but yeah, the main corruption is in the government, and it's seen through the students' chapters when they're explaining to the narrator what they went through and stuff like that. And then also love. This is also a big thing, mainly with Krunfula, and also with Ismail and Zaib. Those are kind of the 3 people who exhibit this behavior, and also a little bit Hilmy. It's not a huge part, but it's definitely in there, and it's brought up a few times throughout the story. And then lastly, we have loss of innocence. This is mainly dealing with the students after they go to prison for 3 times. They really do lose their innocence. They become different people. They become much more cold and have a more pessimistic look upon the world, and that's very evident in the story. Those are the themes. If you find any more, let me know, comments, whatnot, and we move on to enjoyment. Overall, I did enjoy the book. I was kind of surprised because I read Palace Walk for about a year ago. I liked that one. It was pretty good. This was a much shorter Mahfouz book. I didn't really know what to expect, but it was a nice story. It dealt with a lot of different things, like the 3 themes that I talked about. One thing that Mahfouz typically does is he brings up a lot of political issues, and that is easily seen because during the time where like a bunch of the Arab countries basically wanted to take out Israel during the 60s. A lot of those issues are brought up about like Russia not supporting them well enough, the U.S. possibly intervening, stuff like that. So that's something that Mahfouz really does well. And it's a really interesting perspective to see other than our Americanized view on everything. Yeah, if you enjoyed this review, like, favorite, comment, or subscribe if you so choose. I'd appreciate it immensely. I really hope you enjoyed it. As always, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, my good people, keep on reading.